Good evening in Manila and good morning in Washington and in Boston. Today, the Asia Pacific Insights is launching its initial broadcast to discuss the latest defense and security developments, not only in the Philippines, but also in the rest of the region and in the world. We hope you can learn something from the discussions the API brings to you. Some journalists and military men who have expertise and experience in covering evolving security issues. For today, we will be discussing a new development in warfare seen in Eastern Europe and in the Middle East, the use of unmanned aerial vehicles. Drones are not exactly new on the battlefield. We've seen these unmanned vehicles before in the conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. In Southeast Asia, Malaysia and Indonesia have already started acquiring armed drones made from Turkey. The US had transferred Scan Eagle surveillance drones to the Philippines. It has provided surface drones to enhance maritime domain awareness. We also acquired Israeli Hermes 450 and 900 aerial surveillance drones. And the Navy now operates Pantas T-12 and Devil Ray T-24 submersible and surface unmanned vehicles. To give us a more comprehensive perspective about drone warfare, let's welcome Dennis Acop, a West Point graduate and a former Philippine Army intelligence colonel, who was once connected with the political and security risk consultancy Philippine Strategic Associates. And my friend Rodney Haleco, a veteran defense reporter in Manila before, who was moved to the United States before Donald Trump began cracking down on illegal migrants. But I want to assure you that Dennis and Rodney are not illegal migrants. Let us hear first Colonel Dencio before I turn you over to Rodney for their opening statements. Colonel Dencio, good evening in Manila. So you can now have your opening statement.
Salamat, Manny. Thank you for the invite. I'm excited to be part of this first podcast of API. So I'll be ready to answer your questions regarding drone warfare.
Okay, thank you, then Colonel Acop, and we can now listen to Rodney for his opening statement.
Yeah, thanks, Manny. And kamusta po, Colonel Akop? Nice to
Rani.
good to see you. I think this discussion started off with a series of posts sa social media namin, no? Yung drones, no? Because of the recent developments sa Ukraine, drones are becoming a ubiquitous component of today's war, the war fighting, and I guess it's also so it's now time the Philippines, no, and the threat that it faces, no? Especially China, which is the top producer of drones, no, commercial and military drones. So I look forward to the discussion, especially kay Colonel Akop, and kind of pick your brains about this latest trend, no, in warfare.
Thank you, Rodney. No? Here's my first question, no, to both of you. In the last stock-based forum at the Manila Polo Club in Makati, Major General Fabian Pedregosa, I hope Colonel Acop is familiar with the general.
I think so.
The Air Force, the Air Force, he's the Air Force commander of the Air Defense Command. No? He said that they were closely watching the conflicts between Russia and Ukraine in Eastern Europe and between Israel and Iran in the Middle East. If you recall, Ukraine had a daring attack on Russian air bases 400 kilometers deep into Russian territory, no? And in the recent Israel-Iran conflict, the air defense system of Iran was knocked out by Israeli drones, no? So my question is, how should the Philippines integrate drones in its air defense system? And how should the Philippines effectively defend itself from drone attacks, on the other hand? Let's listen first to Colonel Ako.
Yeah, thank you, Manny. I thought na before we dive into answering the question, gusto ko lang na i-review yung situation sa Philippines, the situation in the Philippines, especially with regards to China, because that's really the threat in the Philippines, di ba? But
Of course.
but really, I would have to say, even before I start, and I think this is really the key takeaway for drones, especially with a weaker military like the Philippines versus a giant of a military like China. It is, I think, well, drone warfare is going to be the future of military conflicts, definitely. But it is also, I think, a perfect weapon for asymmetric warfare to be used by weaker militaries against stronger ones. I think it's perfect. It's some sort of an equalizer, if we might call it that. Reviewing the threat in the Philippines. Well, we know that what really are the targets of China in the Philippines. Of course, they are now in control of Spratly Islands. I mean, much of it anyway, and of course Scarborough Shoal. And also, China also targets the Bashi Channel in Luzon, because it is a key passage for naval traffic through the South China Sea.
As well as Taiwan Straits.
Yeah. The Chinese Communist Party and the People's Liberation Army also target military bases and infrastructure in the Philippines, because, of course, it has to limit the AFP's ability and those of its allies to operate in the region. And, of course, it also wants to control our airports and ports, because these are used to project power and facilitate deployment of troops and equipment in case it goes to the kinetic phase of war. Of course, also communication and surveillance, and I think this is key to what we are going to be discussing, because the PLA and the CCP would like to hinder the ability of the Philippines and its allies to monitor and respond to the PLA's military activities, of course, right? And why is China doing this in the Philippines? Well, number one, it wants control of the South China Sea, right? We all know that. Number two, it is countering United States influence and capabilities anywhere really, but most especially in the South China Sea. Third, it also wants to attain strategic depth. By controlling key locations in the Philippines, China will be able to create a buffer zone and increase its ability to project power further into the region. And of course, resource control. The Spratlys, for one, is rich with significant oil and gas resources. Diba?
Apo.
And in order to achieve this, the PLA is focused on achieving its territorial claims in the South China Sea through a combination of military force, coercion, and gray zone tactics, strategic ambiguity, and calculated escalation than a full-scale invasion as of now. I mean, it really has no reason to militarily invade the Philippines unless there's a good strategic reason for it, right? This approach aims to gradually exert control over disputed areas while minimizing the risk of direct military conflict with the United States. As of now, that's the... And I can delve into it later on, but if we look at the global strategy of China, it doesn't really need to to go into any kinetic phase of war because it's already at war by non-kinetic means. And
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
reaching even the shores of the United States as far as the Bahamas. If we look at the linkage between its the ports and airports and infrastructure acquisitions that it's been doing over the years from China through the Atlantic, through the Pacific, all the way up the eastern coast of Latin America, and now into the Philippines. There are basically two things, Manny. I will first discuss how perhaps the Armed Force of the Philippines can integrate drone warfare. Well, it's already begun to anyway. So the Armed Force of the Philippines will need to integrate drones or unmanned aerial vehicles into its military operations for all necessary and wide range of tasks, including surveillance, reconnaissance, combat support, and even precision strikes or combat operations. Precision strikes, And to discuss this more in detail, first is surveillance and reconnaissance. Drones are equipped with high-resolution cameras, infrared sensors, and other advanced technologies, which provide real-time intelligence on enemy positions, troop movements, and potential threats. This enhanced situational awareness allows for more informed decision-making and better planning of military operations. There are also tethered drones, which are connected to a laptop with internet connection, in particular, which can provide persistent surveillance for extended periods, offering a continuous stream of intelligence. So we are seeing all the advantages of drones. Secondly, for combat and combat support, drones can be armed with precision-guided munitions, allowing for targeted strikes on enemy assets while minimizing collateral damage. They can also be used for electronic warfare, jamming enemy communications and suppressing enemy air defenses. Drones can deliver supplies, evacuate casualties, and even perform search and rescue missions, further reducing the risk to human personnel. This has been described in the part of the AFP's mission, the non-combat activities, right? Third is command and control. Drones can serve on communication as communication relays, extending the range of military communications in areas where traditional infrastructure is compromised. They can also be used to transmit real-time video feeds and sensor data to commanders, providing a comprehensive overview of the battlefield. Fourth, training and testing. Drones are used for target practice and training, which allows soldiers to hone their skills in a safe and controlled environment while the drones do the fighting. They can also be used for testing new technologies and weapon systems, accelerating the development. And there's now this area of artificial intelligence and autonomous systems, which is really going into the future, but is now being developed by countries like Russia, China, and others. The integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning into drone technology is leading to more autonomous systems that can perform complex missions with minimal human intervention. This includes autonomous navigation, target identification, and even decision-making in certain situations. Future military drones are expected to operate in coordinated swarms, significantly increasing their effectiveness and impact. China, for instance, is developing a mothership drone, and where smaller drones can deploy from, creating swarms, which is just a combination of different kinds of drones in order to overwhelm, especially by China. Sixth is counter-drone systems. As drones become more prevalent, militaries will also be developing and deploying counter-drone systems to detect, track, and neutralize enemy drones. These systems include a variety of technologies such as kinetic interceptors, electronic warfare tools, and directed energy weapons. And seventh, the impact of drone warfare. Drone warfare is the future of military conflicts. Its use will increase.
Mhm.
It is shifting the nature of conflicts. There's greater emphasis on remote warfare, reduction in human personal involvement, and like I said, it's perfect for weaker militaries against stronger ones, like the Philippines versus China. First of all, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to acquire than ballistic missiles or other more advanced weapon systems.
Yes.
And it's perfect for asymmetric warfare, as I've mentioned, and especially for an archipelagic terrain like the Philippines, which is like spread out, and there's need for autonomy. It's good for both offense and defense, I think. It's good for defense for the Philippines. It's it's a it's a little bit challenging for offense for anyone trying to invade, but technically it's going to be good for both. Would you like me to continue to yung second ano ko naman direction ko na to I would like to discuss about artificial intelligence
Yes,
and
go ahead.
data centers, because it's connected to how the Philippines can defend against drone warfare of China.
Mhm. Go ahead.
Yeah. In one of my earlier articles, I pointed this out about the entry of artificial intelligence data centers into the Philippines, which is being allowed. I must point out that AI data centers are playing an increasingly crucial role in the control and operation of military drones. Okay, so to be more specific, how can AI data centers be used in military drone control? Well, first, autonomous operations. AI algorithms processed by powerful data centers, uh, and I will identify this in a while, allow drones to fly autonomously, navigate complex environments, identify targets, and respond to threats with minimal human intervention. May autonomy sila eh. Real-time data processing and decision making. AI systems within data centers analyze vast amounts of data operations using precision strikes. Third, enhanced navigation and targeting. AI-driven navigation integrates data from various sensors, whether these are LiDAR, cameras, or radar, to allow autonomous navigation even in GPS-denied environments. AI algorithms also enhance targeting capabilities by identifying high-value targets and striking them with precision while aiming to minimize civilian casualties. Medyo ano rin eh, it's kind of lethal and and threatening. Fourth, threat identification and response. AI-assisted drones can quickly identify potential threats and adapt their actions, such as dodging missiles or maneuvering to avoid detection. This is what's happening in Ukraine with Russia, right?
Yes,
Fifth,
correct.
swarming and collaborative multi-drone tasking. AI facilitates the coordinated operation of multiple drones, enabling them to work together for enhanced surveillance or synchronized attacks. This improves battlefield awareness and operational readiness. Sixth, ang dami, adaptive mission planning. AI allows drones to dynamically adjust their mission parameters based on real-time battlefield changes, optimizing routes, resources, and objectives. And of course, reduced human risk. We already know. In short, the key takeaways from this is that AI data centers are fundamental to the growing autonomy, efficiency, and intelligence of military drones. Also, AI data centers process vast amounts of data to enable real-time decision-making, enhanced navigation, and precision strikes by drones. In essence, AI is changing military strategy by shifting towards more integrated and intelligent multi-domain systems where drones are a critical component, thus the need for integration. And also the increased reliance on AI in military drones necessitates addressing ethical and strategic considerations, particularly concerning autonomous weaponry and potential escalation of conflicts. So this is also a danger, right? Because if even if they are deployed, but they have to be controlled at all times. And in relation to this, therefore, I'm a bit surprised that the Philippines is kind of very welcoming to Chinese AI data centers. Right now, there's like 4 identified if we do a search. One is, of course, the first one has been Alibaba Cloud, which has been in Manila since 2021, supporting services like elastic compute, machine learning, and data analytics. And then there was another one, the second one, which I wrote about in October of 2025. I must point out that the presence of foreign-owned or developed data centers can raise questions and concerns regarding data security and national security. So for me, since essentially drone warfare is redefining traditional Army, Navy, Air Force organizational structures, hierarchies, divisions of labor. Before part of it is the AFP's ability to integrate drones into its organizational structure and warfighting doctrines. And secondly, I think this early it would be good for the Philippine national security establishment to probably be stricter with access control by through access denial, access removal even of anything that will threaten Philippine national security. And I think the artificial intelligence data centers, for one, even if they seem commercial, can also be used for military purposes. And we must bear in mind that the Chinese Communist Party and People's Liberation Army are into this civilian military integration since Xi Jinping took over, and it's now being used globally, not just regionally but globally. Yep.
So
Manny.
thank you very much, Colonel Lanco, for your very comprehensive discussion of the drone warfare. No, pero how do you think is the Philippines far back in the development of drone technology, in integrating it into the Philippine military? Talagang bang maiiwan tayo o are we see the other countries, the region?
I would assess at this point, Manny, that the AFP is probably at the starting point of trying to be on board of all of this, especially drone warfare. Right now, of course, it is importing most of its drones, especially from the United States, and also the donations of allies or contributions of allies, and certainly the Philippines has many allies. But you're right, the Philippines will also need to double time in terms of its capability to get into this technology, probably, develop the ability to manufacture its own down the road. While it doesn't have the capability, it's good to keep on accepting all of. Because if you ask me, what is the answer to the threats affecting the Philippines right now, especially since it's only beginning again to modernize. It's been in the counterinsurgency mode for so many decades.
A long
So it's only
time.
beginning in all of these phases. So, for me, the answer is drones and more drones. So develop the capability to have as many useful drones as possible within the shortest possible time. Just like what Ukraine is doing with Russia. When Ukraine has been able to halt the advance of Russian forces practically because of drones. Because drones, these are unmanned, right? And eventually there's also such a thing as tactical nuke drones. Pretty soon, even Russia, for instance, if it becomes too frustrated with Ukraine, it might try and use drones with bearing tactical nukes. Hopefully not, no. But that's the possibility, and even Vladimir Putin has threatened that.
Yes.
So, but we can see the effect because of the effectiveness of drones. Uh, and because drones can also projectiles, the
So,
missiles itself, right?
so
The drones can target the providers or the launch pads of these missiles, and then a cheap weapon system destroying a much bigger or a lot more expensive weapon system. That's really the kaya nga asymmetrical eh.
correct. Yeah. So thank you, Colonel Akop. Let's listen to Rodney's views on the drone warfare.
Yeah, I'll just take off from where Colonel Akop left off, no? Yung Ukraine, one of the lessons of Ukraine was that it developed its own indigenous drone technology after seeing the advantages of drone warfare, no? After Russia invaded it. And the reason why Ukraine was able to develop their drone sector, their drone weaponry that swiftly was because madami sa mga Ukrainians were already aficionados of drones. No? They, for recreational purposes or for photography, yung commercial aspects ng drone was very popular in Ukraine, even before Russia invaded. So they were able to quickly shift, no, from the commercial to the military application of the drones. Now, going back to the Philippines, drones are basically technology driven. So we have to ask also if we want to develop a military industrial base for the mass manufacture of drones, is are Filipinos ready to embrace this technology, no? I am not sure. Manny, ikaw sa Manila, how extensive or how large is yung aficionado base, no? Yung mga enthusiasts for drones kasi medyo mahal siya, no? So I know basically it's they're basically used for media, no? Yung mga
Coverage.
TV stations are the one that really invest in drones, and next to that also will be next only to the military. Now, I agree na it's in its infancy, but there is a lot of potential for the development of an industrial base to manufacture drones domestically. Ang problema is between the two biggest sources of drones for the Philippines, no, for the AFP, it's either China or US, no, and siguro to a certain extent Israel and the other countries.
deliberately, develop using its defense budget.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's into its modernization. So,
Saka
but-
incentives. Yeah. Yung business incentives para ma-encourage yung investments.
Actually, in June, during the Shangri-La Dialogue, the Defense Minister of the Philippines, si Gibo Teodoro, met with the Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister, and they discussed how to cooperate in developing drone technology for the Philippines. Kasi Ukraine said that it was producing 10 million drones a year. No?
Yeah.
So maybe maybe Ukraine can help the Philippines develop its drone industry, as well as Israel, who is now developing a more cheaper way to counter drone warfare, no? Because ginagamit na rin ng Iran, ng Hamas, ng Hezbollah, and they're using this laser based technology, which is more cheaper than their ballistic missiles or their Iron Dome, no? Because I think 100 kilovolt of laser can neutralize thousands of drones in a single wave.
Yeah. Tsaka, yung isa pang requirement dyan will be yung internet, no? Yung cyber capabilities. Kasi like in Ukraine, they relied heavily on Elon Musk, yung Starlink, no? That's the only reason they could fly drones so many miles away from their borders. Kasi there was a Starlink na pwede nilang gamitin na apparently the Pentagon was paying for it, no? So they can use it. Pero Pilipinas, ano ba internet natin? I mean, we have one of the slowest internet speeds sa buong Asia. So pati yun, dapat i-develop nila yun. Kasi drone warfare will require that.
Of course.
Drone warfare is cheap, no? It's easy. Pero madaming requirements sa technology sector. And the Philippines, I don't think, has that adequate infrastructure to support a really robust na drone warfare technology.
One important aspect also is even before all of this, China is very good in impacting infrastructure, di ba? Even I mean, I think to some extent, I don't even know what Philippines by infiltration by China, right? Since the Duterte administration. Yeah. So I don't know. Even before the AFP goes into any of this, perhaps there is a need for house cleaning.
Yeah.
China has been good in infrastructure, impacting Philippine infrastructure. Like for example, before even nga yung telecommunications from China, right? Impacting even communication providers within military camps in the Philippines. And now we're talking about commercial AI data centers, some of which are already in the Philippines and more are coming. So, tuprong dito we are talking about developing our own drone warfare capability, but at the same time, we're already compromised. So, di ba? And China is sabi mo nga, Rodney, for even internet provision. Siyempre, these are all linked, right?
Yeah.
The drone warfare technology is linked to that. And so, China is so much into that. And so, obviously, the Philippines will have to avail of anything but Chinese technology, dapat. So, what is it doing, continuing to welcome Chinese technology into the Philippines when we are already compromised? So, maybe, a honest to goodness house cleaning first will be essential before the Philippines considers developing its own drone technology.
Yeah, dito nga sa di ba dito, Colonel, sa USA, binan na yung Huawei.
Huawei.
Yeah.
And pati itong TikTok, no? Because of the fear na China is planting certain, phantom programs, backdoor programs that they can use when the time comes.
Yeah, aren't we already even now hearing of news from other countries? I mean, I read one, I forgot where, Internet of Things, anything that is manufactured by China can have transmitters within them. That
Yeah.
so I mean, the spying, I think is extensive, and para bang because even drone may, and its pilots may have our own intelligence and counterintelligence capabilities, but China is one step ahead. It's already put in on these things into all of this. So where are they? What is the extent that they have infiltrated the Philippine national security establishment? Yung mga ganun ba? So I think all of these are going on together. And in fact, going ahead to one of your questions, Manny, I saw there how, for example, the Philippines can integrate its capability with the US, and maybe the Philippines can focus on using legal power, while the US does its coercive power, because anything that the US does, China seems to not be able to do anything about it. So, US is right in trying to build these both manufacturing sites in Palawan, and China wala namang magagawa, no? In the Philippines, meanwhile, can focus its legal power on focusing on the 2016 arbitration ruling, di ba? Combining the two, because the US is also big on enforcing the rule of law, the international order in the international sea lanes. So I think that's where each one can complement each other, and relative to this, the Philippines can include trying to do house cleaning in trying to yung sinabi ko nga kanina about access control, access denial, access removal of anything that can compromise Philippine national security, including these AI data centers.
Since you already mentioned that the Philippine security is compromised, there was a recent report, in the newspapers in Manila of 4 Chinese, who were arrested in Subic in Grande Island, because they were flying drones to the area, and they were insisting that the drones were only used for fishing purposes to locate the fish in the area. But the Philippine military and the intelligence community were not convinced, because these Chinese businessmen were flying drones near a Philippine Navy facility in Subic. So maybe that could be a case, in point, where we know that China is already in the Philippines, and they were using drones. And these are serious threats to Philippine security. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, certainly, Manny. In relation to that, I would also like to point out, for instance, that, for example, up to now, di ba, where are the approximately 9,000 missing or unlocated former POGO workers in the Philippines? Sabi nila, they cannot locate. And isn't it that some of these POGO workers imported from China are suspected to be PLA members? Again, I do not know if a lot of people know this, but if you do a little bit of research, you'll find out that the People's Liberation Army has business collaborations with the Chinese triads. And
yes.
even some Chinese triads are being used by the Chinese Communist Party for their purposes, and they're even called by the CCP as patriotic triads. So, and they're suspected to be involved in the Pogos in the Philippines. Kaya nga siguro, di ba, some of our kababayans before were saying that they kept on seeing a lot of foreign Chinese workers, young, military looking, always traveling together throughout the Philippines. So, hindi ba yun? And now, there's this report that since they disbanded the Pogos at the end of last year, some 9,000 are not located. So yeah. So again, these are probably some of the things that the PNP and the AFP can try and locate. And if they are found, then maybe they should be deported.
Yes. What you think, Rodney?
Yeah, yung the threat from within is part of the attractiveness of developing drone warfare, no? Kasi let's already the China already invading Taiwan, and the Philippines will be definitely dragged into that conflict. So what are the possible targets, no? So we can probably establish a drone-based defense system. Kasi the drones are so versatile that they can be used to detect parang a supplement to radar. They can spot a incoming attack cheaply, no? Since we don't have AWACS pa, no? We don't have the advanced warning system, and have to rely on the US for that kind of capability, then perhaps we can develop the drones, no? As a way of augmenting yung Manny, yung Tatag Kapuluan, no? Parang it's a doctrinal change. I remember, Manny, nung time natin, no, yung sa Defense Press Corps tayo, yung kay Admiral Dumangkas, no? Yun parang brown water Navy ang na-envision nila doon, yung mga choke points, di ba? They wanted to set up defenses for the choke points. Pero ngayon, blue water na. So you can imagine the expansion of the area of responsibility of the AFP, no? From brown water to blue water. So that extends all the way to the EEC, the West Philippine Sea. And I don't think the Philippines has enough money to buy enough planes and ships to cover that large area. So this is where the drones come in. They're cheap, no? They can be procured easily, provided that there is a support base for it. And our national leaders, our lawmakers, appreciate yung changing nature ng warfare, where the emphasis now is partly shifting to drone warfare, no? So, kailangan, aside from the Gripen and the F-16, the dream of acquiring F-16s and Gripens is also the dream of acquiring these drones, no? And unfortunately, China is easier, no? You have more access to Chinese drones than to US drones. Napakahirap na bumili, no? There are so many hoops to jump, and the technology that involves in it, no? In China, they're selling their drones left and right all over yung India-Pakistan conflict na yun, they made a killing there because the drones ginagamit ng Pakistan, they were selling for $1 million a piece, a missile, no, a HIMARS missile. So for this kind of technology, because they are more careful in sharing that kind of technology to non-American clients. No? Although we are technically allies, no? Treaty allies tayo, but still we need to jump a lot of hoops just to acquire their latest drone technology.
Alam mo, the drone warfare started in a conflict because at that time, the Philippine Army were using commercial drones, the ones that were being used by photographers and videographers for covering wedding
Mga
photography.
quadcopters, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were using that, and they were very effective in locating the Islamic militants during that time. That's why partly the war in
Yeah.
Marawi was
So,
from
how can we-
Israel
Nagawa
and
yata,
from the
Manny.
US. Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Siguro, yeah, that the timing is okay naman in terms of the Philippines modernizing, and perhaps the way to go really is drone warfare. I have to say also that in terms of the war fighting doctrine, the Philippines has always had a problem with that. Even when I was still in the service, and up to now, I really do not know the extent of. Kasi pag sinabi mong konektado yung, if we say, or if we claim that supposedly the national security strategy is connected to the national defense strategy and to the national military strategy, right? And even the weapon systems acquisition should be in line with that, right? But then again, there's been a serious disconnect in the Philippines because we have so long been in counterinsurgency mode nga, di ba? So we were not really
Right.
able to develop any warfighting doctrine for a modern army. So now we're now trying to do that, but then we're now trying to do it at the time that warfare is changing from the traditional warfighting doctrine to drone warfare. So, what's the point of trying to develop traditionally when a new warfighting doctrine is being written by drone warfare? So maybe the AFP should just scrap its traditional thinking and go into future drone warfare mode. Also, we were asking about what should be the role for Navy, Air Force, and even Army personnel, right? Now, it
Yes.
seems to me like drone warfare is redefining that even. There's no more really a great distinction between the three branches of service because, all personnel from these three branches of service, whether ground, air, or water, can actually be the drone pilots. So, di ba, for example, the Army, of course, they're a ground personnel, so they can scatter around the archipelago and find strategic sites where they can launch drones, right? So all our personnel can actually become drone pilots. So for the Army, ground-based, and then of course for the Air Force, integrating their drones into the air assets. So magiging air-to-air or air-to-surface ground warfare capabilities, right? For the Navy, it's going to be, of course, water-based, surface-to-surface, or even underwater if we are able to develop our underwater capabilities. And of course, for the Army, ground-based ground control stations for drone warfare. Diba?
So, yeah. So let's talk about the defense strategy being developed by Secretary Teodoro, this comprehensive archipelagic defense, no? In December 2024, the Armed Forces operationalized the concept through a campaign plan called Tatag Kapuluan, no? So, what do you want to see in this new campaign plan, and what role should the Philippine Army play in the deterrence strategy of the military?
Yeah, so
Yes, Colonel Rob.
Okay. Yeah, as I yeah, as I started on it, yun nga, yung in addition to what I said, I think we don't really know the details of Tatag Kapuluan, so it's a bit hard to comment on it. But given just the imagining the typical things that go into such plan, I would have to say that I hope it's big on intelligence and counterintelligence, and of course the integration of drone warfare into the plan. I hope it's in there because as we are discussing, it's an essential, even a key component, I think, of the strategy, especially moving forward. So I hope it's there.
Correct.
And how, and of course, if it's there, then of course a plan that includes how they are going to be deployed throughout the archipelago so that they are effective. Kasi, di ba, I mean, how do you, when we say integration, okay, we have our AFP forces scattered around the archipelago, right? Army, Navy, Air Force. And then, if we are going to integrate drone warfare into that, how, where, di ba? And not only that, our drone assets right now are limited, and so we will have to depend on the characteristics of the drones that are in the inventory as given by allies. That's the limitation. We do not have much leeway in terms of really, incorporating it into the Philippine defense strategy based on entirely on our call, because we don't have it. We don't have native drones. We only have imported drones. So yun ang isang that is one, I think, key weakness. And that is where we can integrate, we can depend on, of course, our allies. So, sino pa nga ba, di ba? US and other allies who are trying to help us, like Japan, Korea, France, etc. And focus on, and in the meantime, we focus on, like I said, our legal power, constitutional laws, 2016 arbitral ruling, and invite the coercive power assistance of allies, especially the US, in countering China for the meantime. Those are my thoughts.
Yung Balikatan, it's a perfect venue for bringing in yung drone warfare technology, no? The US deployed HIMARS, Nemesis, yung Typhoon, no? But they also, I understand, deployed yung Marine Air Defense Integrated System nung last Balikatan, which is the anti-drone equipment, no? ng Marines, US Marines. So perhaps more of that, no? Kasi yung para ang publicity, yung attention lahat doon sa pagputok ng HIMARS. Kasi maganda nga naman tingnan, ano? It's you can see the missile coming out, it's flying away, you know? It projects power, no? Pero in today's setting, I think the drone is more powerful than the HIMARS when it's used properly and in sufficient numbers, no? So there should also be a focus na siguro the Philippines can also ask the Pentagon, no, in future Balikatan exercises to put a focus on drone and anti-drone warfare, no? Kasi I think that's yan ang weak point so far, no? Because we already know that China has extensive drones, no? Ang dami talaga. They must manufacture this for profit, no? You can assume na they will use that when war comes, no? So the Philippines yun ang parang pinaka soft spot niya as I see it now. So it might be something that the Philippines can ask the US and other allies to help it, no, develop and augment its stockpile of anti-drone weapons. Naalala mo, kasi Karnao, di ba, nung last November, nagkaroon ng panic dito sa East Coast because of yung sightings ng drones, no? Unexplained sightings dito sa may New Jersey and New York area. Everybody was, pati yung mga congressmen had to react to it. Apparently, yung mga drones na yun na unexplained were sighted near military facilities. And according to the Pentagon, they were conducting research. So ibig sabihin, the US is continually developing its drone technology, although very secretive sila. So baka naman pwedeng malambing ang Pentagon na baka naman pwedeng makasilip man lang, no? We can get a peek at what the future of drone warfare and equipment will be and will look like, no? So
Yeah, in addition to that, Rodney, as I mentioned earlier, definitely counter drone will be an essential weapon system of the AFP dapat in prioritizing its acquisitions, right?
yes.
And as we know, China has all kinds of drones. They have especially very long-range drones that they can launch all the way from mainland China, going all the way to the Philippines. The Philippines is not very far from China. Kung tutuusin mo, it's only like more than 1,100 kilometers from China, Hong Kong even. But the drones of China, they have distances as far as over 11,500 kilometers.
Mhm.
So they can really go anywhere.
Baka round trip pa, Colonel. Pwede
Yeah.
pa siya mag-round trip.
Yeah, and long endurance, of course, because the farther the distance, yung tinatawag nilang endurance is also, of course, longer. That's the time that is able to function without recharging. Also in relation to this, yung nga, as I mentioned earlier, the intelligence and counterintelligence aspect of it. What do we know about the types of Chinese drones that are to be deployed against the Philippines? Because based on this intel, we can devise our counter intel and also prioritize the kinds of counter drones that we need. Kasi hindi naman porke drone yan, they will any counter drone will work against that drone. You will still need to find out what kind of drone you are trying to intercept, so that you will also have the equivalent counter drone weapon system that's waiting to intercept. Parang ganun yan di ba? That's how it will
Saka,
work.
Colonel, just to add, no, yung the need for intelligence, no? Kasi if you recall, in Ukraine and Israel, their most effective drone attacks did not come from long-range drones, na-smuggle in, no? Yung Ukraine, smuggled in yung drones nila through yung sheds, no? Yung sa bubong, no? Tinago nila yung drones doon, and when it at a certain time under command, no? Bumukas yung mga bubong and the drones went out, no? Flew out, and they planted these structures very near the Russian military Air Force bases nila, which is why they were able to knock out a third of the Russian strategic bomber force.
Yeah.
No? And then sa Iran, yung Mossad infiltrated the Iran and planted the drones, no? These are small drones, Colonel. Kaya yun ang worry. That's one of my biggest worries, aside from the long-range drones. Baka na hindi natin malayang sa Pilipinas, baka may nakatanim na dyan, na on signal, they will swarm our military facilities and knock out all our anti-aircraft defenses. So they still is powerless.
Yeah, exactly. That's an excellent point, Rodney. It's very probable, and knowing how China operates, it's highly likely. Mm-hmm. And they've been able to do that a lot, especially during the Duterte administration. because we welcome them in as an ally, contrary to what it used to be. Parang ganon. And yeah, there are all kinds of drones. There are even mosquito-sized micro drones. Okay, so yeah, it's all possible. And again, yung what you described about what's going on in Ukraine, that's really how when we talk of integration nga, how the drones are integrated into the warfare. Yeah, that's how the intelligence services, Army, Navy, Air Force are supposed to incorporate the drones into their military plans, objectives, mga ganon. So that's really where it all fits into.
It begins with doctrines and strategy, Colonel, di ba?
Like I said nga, I described earlier the way it should be, and the Philippines is a little bit behind when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So it really needs to double time in integrating its so-called national security strategy, sa level nila presidente yon, and then down to the national defense strategy ni Gibo, all the way down to the national military strategy ni Chief of Staff, and then down to the operational plans of the commanders. That's how it works. So unless you have something like that, then it's not integrated, it's not united. The effort is sabog, and because the acquisition of weapon systems will need to depend on that. If your fighting doctrine is not logical, it's not rational, it's not integrated, di ba? Then what is the basis of your weapon systems acquisitions? Even the inventory list that you ask from your allies, diba? Are you going to just accept anything from your ally just because it's just a surplus of their military, diba? It may not even be working. Pero tayo naman, because we are beggars, tuwan-tuwa tayo. We are so happy to receive something and even report it in the news when in fact it may not even fit our warfighting doctrine. See, these are the things naman. And if these are happening, then maybe we have a fighting chance. But if not, then wala na. We'll just be totally reliant on the U.S. and allies and the mercy of our enemies.
Yeah.
Correct. So we're almost out of time. So my last question is, we are now in the modernization phase of our military. So what capabilities and equipments are the priority for the Philippines to strengthen its deterrence capability and its A2AD capabilities? Colonel?
Ano lang yan? Brains, drones, and no corruption.
No corruption. Yeah. Rodney?
Yeah. At alam mo, yung magkaganda ng drones, they're cheap enough to withstand corruption. Kasi walang kakikitain sa drones kasi murang-mura yan. So, that's the weapon of the future, economically, militarily, and strategically. Doon tayo dapat mag-i-invest sa drones and the infrastructure to support it. Ano yan damay-damay sana kung madidevelop mo yan, yung doctrines and strategy involving drones. Pati yung mga communications natin, infrastructure, they will have to develop that para magamit yung drones.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. Yes. So, okay, we have run out of time, but there's still many things to talk about in the defense of the Philippines. So thank you, Colonel Lakop and Rodney.
Anytime.
thank you.
I hope to see you next month for another episode of API Podcast. And we thank our listeners and viewers. Please share and subscribe to our channel and visit the API website. Also, do comment below on the topics you want to discuss. So thank you very much and magandang umaga sa inyo, Rodney and Colonel Lakop, at magandang gabi dito sa Pilipinas. Thank you.
Sure.
Abuhay.
Thank you,
Abuhay.
Manny. Rodney. Yeah. Until
Thank you.
next time.